Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's daytime, and I'm here. I know I've been doing a lot of evening videos, and that because y'all know that I've been working. So, you know, that's one of the things. So I wanted to come in and just get y'all caught up on some crazy forecasting and some of the things that are being planned. Now, of course, you know what happens when I come on here, my nose starts to run and and I start coughing. It's like really, really crazy. So I wanted to connect with everybody today. Today is a little bit crazy, a little bit crazy. What day isn't crazy, right? But I've been talking for the last little while about um releasing and letting go, especially with the full moon coming up in Taurus, and it's a full moon lunar eclipse. And with the moon finishing off in Pisces, it's really not a day to have freakouts. So I should have I feel like I need to have, like when they edit your shows and you have boom, boom, these little cartoon kind of things coming out of your head. Um for freakouts, this is really not a day to have freakouts. It's really a day to, if you are feeling very overwhelmed, to take those steps back and not um not take them on. And then you have the moon is going to be conjuncting with Jupiter today, and it's gonna feel good, or it could feel bad, but it's a moment of letting go, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And it's all about letting go of the past and moving forward. So letting go of the past and moving forward. Now I know you guys have heard this and you're just like, oh fuck, I'm just tired of letting go of the past, and this is just, yeah, I know, blah blah blah. But really, when the energies are here for you, it's taking that time. Now with Venus, she's at 15 degrees in Scorpio right now, and just a couple of degrees off of squaring of Saturn. And that's the other thing, because as we are accumulating towards this full moon, we have a T square, a massive T square in the skies. And what that is, and Saturn, God help Saturn, somebody's helping him. He's at the top, he's at the apex of it all. Now, Saturn is, with this T square between with Scorpio. This is and Taurus energy, and Saturn, which suggests with this energy suggests that if you incorporate self disciplining and really work at something, really work at something that you want to get good at. So let's say you want to take piano up, or you want to learn a new language. This is a time I really want to get good at this. I really want to do well at this. Maybe there's something in your job that you are doing and you want to get better at it. You want to maybe work at it a lot better. Maybe communications or videoing. Maybe you want to start your own video log. So you want to get really good at it. So you got to do some practice and you got to take some courses with it and learn more about it, right? So this is what this energy has for us, is to really get good at something. And all of those things, it was, sometimes it's hard work, sometimes it's like, oh, this is too much for me to do. But as we do this, that's this is bringing in that Scorpio energy, all those things. And it's hard work and very intense and very focused, right? And with this Taurus, and both Taurus and Scorpio are fixed energies, this is going to be a type of energy that we have got for the first couple of weeks of this month. So it's really getting us into this intensity, really getting us in a full throttle of energy to go forward. Then as we go through this month and the energies, what we're going to be seeing is that the times with Jupiter. So we're going to be getting into a lot with Jupiter. And I'm looking over here. I got my notes on I got my notes on another computer. So hang on here. With all the Scorpio planets, which opens the energy, and then we get into Sag. But before then, this intensity with all of this and with Jupiter, like Jupiter is going to be expanding a lot of the energies. And as the energies move on into Sagittarius, it's going to be a bigger expansion. And I'm going to get into all of the fuel and things like that and explaining and giving people a little bit of an update and an understanding of what that's all about. So stay tuned. Don't go away. Don't go anywhere. Okay. So let me find my spot here where I was talking. So with all of this energy, it also trines Jupiter to all of that Scorpio planet, which opens the energy, and then we get the Sagittarius energy. All right. The last couple weeks of the month, which opens us onto and into the light. So, an example, you've worked very hard, and then all of a sudden, all of these things that maybe that you started at the beginning of November, the first couple of weeks, and with this energy and this full moon, all of a sudden you get it. It clicks. All of the energy seems to come together. So this is a really fine time for you to really look at what you really want to refine at. So let's go back to June and July. June and July, we had this energy that really was going to get us to take that leap, really get going. Let's move forward. All right. Because I mentioned way back then that this is a time of jumping on the train, getting forward. Let's get moving, because things are going to start moving slowly. So this is when, and I got a bunch of women coming in that are sitting around a quilting, and they're showing me that this is a time that we would come in and mend things. This is a time when we would come in and mend the quilts, mend the socks, mend the clothing that needs to be mended for the winter ahead. And this is, especially for the first couple of weeks of November, it is us coming together, mending. I think my cat just puked somewhere. I'm sorry. I just heard that. So she just threw up something. I'll clean it up in a bit. Oh, just hang on. Let her outside, Steve. She just threw up. The cat. And oh, no, you're not eating that. Ah, crazy. And here's the dog, because the dog's going to eat it. Oh. Hang on, everybody. I got a mess to clean up. Come with me. It's portable. So with all of this energy, it's really bringing in this intensity. And as I said, these women that I'm seeing right now are showing me when we are starting to So when we start getting really good at something and we're wanting to create something, we're going to find when the energy is going to Sagittarius, we're going to be able to bring it all together. Right here, Steve. Where are you going? That's what I was going to clean up.
Yeah, the cat did one over there too.
Oh.
That's why I see why you.
Oh. Well, I didn't know about that one. I was doing this one. So, anyways, she must have eaten something that didn't sit with her. She's not a pukey animal. That's fine. There we go. So that's the thing, because we'll find that you can suddenly have you'll have more things done. So let's start those things that need to be done, or those repairs that need to be done, right? And look at those things that need to be done, because we're going to find that by the end, and as this energy accumulates, you're going to have more things done. And what area of your life would benefit from this focus. So right now, as we're accumulating, it's may have made the cat sick. The stress from the puppy. Oh, that's true. Probably the stress of the puppy. Stress of the puppy is making me sick. No, just kidding. But this is where we're going to see and we're going to feel that, okay, what do I want to start sort of working on and um, putting things together? So maybe these are some of the things that are hitting my head right now. So this might, for those who are watching the replay or those who are watching now, one thing I got, because I know there's a lot of gardeners out there. So maybe this is a time to really reevaluate, take some time, sit down and draw out your garden. What worked? Where were your tomatoes? Where was your lettuce? Where was your cabbage? How about Brussels sprouts? Did you grow Brussels sprouts? Um, and going through and saying, okay, this worked and this didn't work. All right. Taking that time. So then maybe this is a time to really look at, okay, what seeds did I collect? Where am I putting my seeds? Things like that. This could be where you are like, hey, you know what? I've been really wanting to read that book on history. I've been really wanting to know more about astrology or tarot or anything like that. So this is the time to really start to begin to look at it. As you begin to look at it, you're going to start to see things are really going to develop around you. You're going to feel that things in your life are going to come together a lot easier. Got to take a drink of coffee, you know. Then through it, I mean, even though it might be difficult and even a little tedious, it's going to be worth it. So that's where this is going. So this effort that you're coming in with, the effort that you're going to be putting forth, this is going to pay off. And it is worth the effort. And maybe it's to put it into relationships. Maybe there's relationships that are coming in. Now, one of the things that, you know, with a lot of this energy that's coming in, with I'm going to say, if anybody's a Scorpio rising, relationships are going to be coming in pretty harsh and heavy right now. So if you are a Scorpio rising, you got to think of where your seventh house is, and which has to do with relationships and what's going on with your seventh house, right? So those with the Scorpio rising, this is going to hit you intensely. If you have a lot of, you know, say you have a people with a Scorpio new moon, I always find that people with a lot of like has a either the moon and sun in Scorpio, um God bless them, but I find sometimes they're not trustworthy because they're always hiding something because of that new moon. That darkness is there. There's always a hidden element with them, you know, that can be within most any signs, but Scorpios, because you can get to the depth and the seediness and underhandedness within Scorpio, because it does have that aspect to it. Just saying. So my husband's talking to me. No, I don't know. So this is you gotta love my lives, right? In night, nobody bugs me, but during the day, that's when people start bugging me. So this is a time of really looking at it, and same with those with your Gemini. So my lovely little Geminis out there, take a look at your chart on where it lies. You know, where is that energy lying for you? Because right across the street from you, okay, Geminis. So you gotta pull out your chart and take a look, right? And see what's across the street. Now, what I mean by across the street. So when I look at Scorpio, Taurus is across the street. When I look at Sagittarius, Pisces is across the street. When I look at Aries, Libra is across the street. When you look at Virgo, or when you look at Gemini, you have Virgo across the street. So look at what those things control, right? So we have Geminis control the third house. So what's the third house? Communications. I don't know why they're taking me on a crash course for you guys right now. So across the street from the third house is the ninth house, which would be, or just hang on. 172839 is the ninth house. Three and nine. Because that's Leo, that's 9. Oh, Sagittarius. So across you, yeah, that would be right. Be Gemini and Sagittarius. So you have the ninth house that's across from you, which is Sag. Now all the energies is going to be going into Sagittarius by the end of this month. All right. So you got to think of what that is. Okay. Hi. Thank you. Cynthia. So with Sagittarius being across the street from Gemini, and you got Mercury retrograde right now, and he's going from 27 degrees all the way back to 8 degrees in that. So the other thing is like, look in your chart, what is between 8 and 27 degrees in everybody's chart, because that's getting hit between 8 and 27 degrees. That's basically everything in my fucking chart. In my chart, some people it may not hit, they might be on either side, they might be, you know, a few degrees on either side. So we're going to go back to the apex right now. So right now, let's go back to where the energy is, and this is going to help you to create more of a flow so that you are not getting and feeling crazy. All right, because there's a very slow growth right now with energies. So it's very slow moving. Things are very slow moving. Now, people like Geminis don't like slow moving. All right. Water signs don't mind slow moving. They're okay. I mean, yes, Cancer is usually rush and emotional and all over the goddamn place, either up or down. You know, God bless my Cancers. I know I have a Cancer moon, Cancer rising. So no offense to anybody when I say these things, right? So when we have this energy that is really slowing us down, and Mars is in retrograde until January, it is going to make us feel frustrated. It's going to make us feel overwhelmed. It's going to make us feel crazy. Is there more coffee? Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. I thought you said there's no coffee. Say, hold on, Steve. Look, say hi.
Hi, who's that?
To everybody.
Hi, good morning.
Cynthia's there.
Oh,
and Charlene's there.
Wait, you having a meeting?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm doing a live.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Have a good day, ladies.
Have a good day, ladies. I hope you could see him there. So with this energy that's coming in, right? And it's slow and it's frustrating, right? It's slow and frustrating. With the slow and frustrating energy, what you need to do is, this is where we say have a focus. Have a focus on something you want to work on, so you're not overwhelmed with everything that's coming forward, because it's going to be hard to see with some things. It's going to be hard to see, and we don't want you pushing your luck. If let's say a huge contract and it looks really good, and you got you want this job and it looks really good, and this huge contract comes in, they say, well, we want you to sign by the end of the day. This is where negotiation comes in and say, nah, I'm gonna wait. You know, you don't have to say this to them unless you want to. I'm gonna wait till after the full moon. You know, I'm gonna wait, because there are hidden elements that you may not see. Now, this is also a time with all of this energy too, where people are wanting a real big dopamine fix. They want that fix. They want that excitement, that whatever it is, right? That's why you got to go into what it is that you like to do. So for me, and this is coming out with some clarity, I'm not getting the full clarity on my own self. This is not to push your ego far. Don't push your ego far. And this is where it's like, you know, has anybody ever done that thing where they show you how to make butter in school? And you shake it up and everybody gets a turn shaking, and it takes a long time because it's got to go around the classroom and shake it up till it becomes the butter, but it's a lot of shaking in order to make the butter. I don't know if you guys ever did that experiment, but anyways, It's churning the butter. Or if you've ever went to any of the old sites and you had the time churning butter. So churning butter, this is where like ice cream, exactly. This is where why are you stuck in such in such a thing? Because as if you're trying to do it too hard, if you're trying to do it too fast, there might be some lumps that show up, there might be some bumps that show up that that's making you uncomfortable, that's making that dis-ease come in. Thank you very much, Margaret. That's happening, right? So this energy is showing us that, okay, we got to work through what we need to do. It's going to be hard. It's going to, I'm serious. It's going to be hard because it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Right. Hey, thanks, Melody. If anybody had to learn, playing the violin or playing a musical instrument, it's like, I want to play like them. It's like if you get on a guitar and you want to do staircase to heaven, right? You just want do the whole thing, and you're just like, and you're trying to move your fingers and you can't do it, but it takes practice. All right. So I'm giving you all of these examples because there is this energy that's there that's going to make it very frustrating, that you're going to say, fuck fuck it all. I'm not going to do it. Right. And why am the man who swears at every turn is telling me, why am I swearing? Love it. So this is what it's going to feel like to get stuck. All right. And with Saturn, now Saturn says, if you're going to focus on something, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you to give you that discipline in order to do it. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to work with you. Now, when you have Saturn on your side working with you, you're going to find things flow a lot easier than you trying to like, I don't want to do this. This is too much, and feeling stuck and overwhelmed. And as I went back and I was starting to talk about the relationships and then Saturn and Scorpio rising, as we start to look at where our energy is in our chart, let's say our sun energy and our moon energy, and taking a look at what houses they are in and seeing where your Gemini energy is in your chart, because everybody has it. I mean, I know a lot of people like to deny the Capricorn energy, but you got it. It's in your chart. This is also where you have to look at, what is that affecting? So if it is affecting my 7th house, which is relationships, is it my 3rd house? That's my education. That's my new, looking at things new, interesting things, right? Because it's controlled by Gemini and Mercury. If it's my 1st house, it's like, how am I appearing? What does that look like? How do I look like to the world? Am I presenting myself the way I want to present myself? The 2nd house is all about my money, my place, my things, my relationships, all of that, because it's Taurus, right? So we look at the different houses and the different energies. The 4th house is Cancer. It's my home. It's my family. It's my support system. I got to be supported. What is supporting me? My 5th house is my inner child, my playfulness. I want to get out there. I want to play. I want to have fun, right? Because it's Leo. My 6th house is like, well, let's get down to business. What do I need to organize? It's Virgo. So these houses control that. These signs control that house. And you might have, like, my 5th house is Scorpio. So it's like, I need to learn how to play and come out more than hide and go down to the depths of hell all the time, So this is when we start to look at these different things and go through them. And as we go into, the 7th house, as I said, is relationships. 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. 8th house is all about corporations, taboos, insurance, restrictions. It's about things that are dying, things that are blossoming. What is the death and resurrection kind of thing? Because it's ruled by Pluto. So we look at where are our boundaries? Then, because this could give you a better idea of what to work on right now, and that you'll find it working a lot easier. And then you move on from from Scorpio into, from into Sagittarius. It's the ninth house. Sagittarius is, yes, fun, lively, let's get busy. You get motivated, you want to do things. It's ruled by Jupiter. I can expand things, I could do things, but it's accountability. You know, Sagittarius is the judges, is the jury, I should say. It's the jury. It's holding you accountable for things. So what are things in your life that you may not be holding yourself accountable for? When you get into Capricorn, it is about organization. What am I organized? What is it that I need to do to climb that mountain? How can I get up there? What is the direction I am going at? What has been distracting me? It's corporations, it's governments, it's institutions. That's what Capricorn controls. Then we get into Aquarius. It's a scientific mind. All right. So it's our groups, it's our organizations, it's our relationships within that group. It's about our uniqueness and individuality. And having that uniqueness and individuality, and allowing ourselves to accept our own uniqueness and individuality within the group, within the collective. And then we move on to Pisces, the ethereal, the abstract, the no boundaries, the connection to the higher realms, along with that of the delusions and illusions and media and propaganda. And how do I fall into that? So each of these houses have a story for us all to tell. And within that story, and where these are all lying right now, and the energy. So that's, take a look where your Scorpio is in your chart, and where Taurus is, and what are they hitting? What is that coming in for you at this time? And where is that Saturn? At the top of that T square. So when we start to look at this is giving you something that, areas of it's something that you need to study or learn and apply for yourself. So it's giving you a little bit, it's a roadmap. It's giving you a little bit of guidance on things, right? And as you do that, it's what is in your life, and what is it? And what is it that, if I could just discipline myself, if I could just come into this and apply this to my life with regularity and consistency in my life, in the areas that doesn't work as well as I would like it to help me along to overcome a lot of the frustrations and overwhelmness that are happening within my life and the world around me. This is helping you to give you that focus and directions, in order for you to feel more in control, and to set some parameters, because Saturn in Aquarius sets some, if you like, rules for yourself, with boundaries, and for yourself, something that you will do. And something, so relationships or writing, this is going to help you to really feel not frustrated, not feeling, because right now people could be feeling lightheaded, dizzy, and there's so much energetic energy within the world right now. We have the solar flares, we have the meteorites that are happening. So there's a lot of this energy that's really disruptive at this time. So when I'm thinking of this energy and the Scorpio energies, like there are many temptations out there. Like there's a lot of temptations out there. And Taurus with the lunar eclipse, Taurus, it's like there are temptations you like, okay? Because Taurus is like what they like. And you could put it into something that might be truly beneficial for your growth and well-being, and what that might be for you. So you're not to slip away. So you're not going to get into a crazy escapism that's going to take you into something that's not healthy. Okay. So this is where, do you know that when one of us makes this leap, it opens up for others to do the same. So as we're doing it, we're allowing others to do, because they see it. Oh, she's doing that. Oh, let me try that. So you make it for all of us. And because it's that connectiveness, it is that in that in energy, and it's invisible, but it's there, you could feel it. And this is bringing in where things are going to be feeling um more into alignment, and helping you to not be tempted to go down the crazy lane, if this makes any sense to you all. So there is, the other thing is that there will be some toxics, when it comes to the Scorpio energy, because toxicity, that's one of the things that Scorpio rules, is toxicities and poisons and things like that. So bringing out the poisons, bringing out that toxicity, and, you know, allowing yourself to release whatever those toxicities are, to bring in new healthy habits, and allowing for you to be able to connect more to the world around you, more into Mother Nature and those frequencies. And you have always got to get creative. So within these frequencies, because these frequencies are going to help us get into the higher realms and shine more of the light on into the world, so that you have an understanding of it. Now, in around, as we go through the month, and as we get along around the 16th and 17th and 18th, Venus goes into Sagittarius, and Mercury goes in there too. And Sag on the 21st, the sun goes in there. So we have the sun going into Sagittarius, and bit by bit, all of this energy is going to start to expand. So all of the energy that you've been working on, and this could be positive or negative. If you want to work in the negative states and work on a lot of toxicities and stuff like that you want to keep, it's going to expand. You want to work on the positivity and releasing all that toxicity, it's going to expand into that goodness. So here comes the light, here comes the sun. That's the type of energy we're working with, as as we are here. And it's about opening up the horizons and opening yourself up, and seeking that there is something in the fixed energies we get. So if you're stuck, we can get stuck. I mean, fixed energies can get very stuck in their ways. That is, Aquarius, Leo, Capricorn, not Capricorn, Scorpio, and what am I missing? I got Taurus, I got Scorpio, I have Aquarius, and I have Leo. So the four, they can get very stuck. Okay. And if you are having that recently, like I've been seeing somebody from various doing treatments for different things, I've known here for a long time, the last couple of times have been difficult for them. They've been difficult, but, you know, I feel, because they've been really working on their health, and they've been really working on releasing whatever it is that stems to their illness, of what's going on. And they really went into a deep dive with this. And I've seen where now there's such great releasement that is coming from them, that they're making headways on their healing, and doing that. So there is something else out there. There's, instead of trying to make something work, because that's the fixed energy, is trying to make something work that really isn't okay. Having discernment in the differences where you've got to put some hard work in, or where you just are bashing your head against the wall. What is working? Are you really trying to make, this old butter turn, and it's had its day? It's just, like, no, there's other ways of making butter. There's better ways of making butter than doing this. I'm going to let this go, you know? And so instead of breaking breaking the wall or your head, this is bringing in some newness. This is going to bring in a new horizons, that are going to come up. Now, with all of this, I've lost my notes here. I should have them all. I should just have them right here in front of me. But I was typing out here on this. I have typing out on one computer, and then, hey, Rima, thank you for the happy birthday. Um, And this is where, if you are, say you're banging your head up against the wall, and you just take a moment and you close your eyes and you say, okay, I got to look for something else, and just let it go. That's when you're going to allow for something new to come in that's going to help to guide you. So once you realize it's okay, um, it's okay. It's all to do with the realization of what's what and actually going on, and where we're moving towards. So, with looking at ways in which we can broaden our perspective, Sagittarius rules, travel, and it rules that travel somewhere that's going to broaden your horizons. Now, that could be physical or non-physical travel, either way. So you learn that people may be bow instead of shaking hands, or maybe um, they say namaste. So people have a different way. So you're broadening your horizons. Maybe it's going to a different part of your city and trying a different food that you've never tried before. Broadening your horizons and how you're doing it, or asking questions. So, ask a question. Oh, I see you wear that, a certain color every day. Is there a reason why you're wearing that color with your Habib? Asking those questions. I'm just really curious. I just think it's really beautiful. Um, and asking those. So there's something better out there, and so that you're not going to beat up with the constraints. So direction, having that direction, there's new directions. That's why we start now, so that when we get into the Sag energy, it's going to help us to move into those directions and have that expansion. And the Sag energy, so that by the 23rd, we've got a new moon. We've got this new moon energy in Sagittarius, and then we move towards the end of the month and we go towards that. But Sag planets, with Mars in Gemini and Mars retrograde, um, we're gonna feel that frustration. We're gonna feel that overwhelmness. And with Jupiter being in Pisces right now until the end of December, and then going into Aries in January, we're going to feel like, okay, things are expanding. It's going to feel a lot out of control. Now, I'm going to flip this around a little bit here as I head into Jupiter and Neptune and stuff in Pisces, and they do control um, oil and gas and things like that. Now, one of the things with what's going on, and especially with this square that's happening, and it is the square, you know, um, is really bringing in some energetic shifts that we are going to be seeing, some energetic shifts. And this is part of the awakening. This is part of the awakening of getting us to really see what's going on. Now, right now, all over the news, you're hearing that there is 25 days left of diesel supply in the, in reserves in the United States. What does that mean? And I was like, okay, does that mean that in 25 days everything's gone? No, that's not what it means. So take a breath there. But what it is, it comes down to economics. It comes down to money. Of course it comes down to money. When you have administrations, the Biden administration, you have the administration within Canada and around the world that is saying that we're not going to invest in fossil fuels anymore. We're not going to invest in that. And as I started doing a little bit of a dive in there, finding out that some refineries throughout North America, and especially in the United States, are over 100 years old. So if we have refineries that are over 100 years old, that means they need some repair. Some of them, I mean, they have to shut down to a certain capacity to continue the flow of what they've been doing. And they do need repair. There's a lot that are coming up that need repair. So we have that. And that costs a lot of money to repair a lot of these refineries. Now, I know my Charlene in Saskatchewan, I don't know if she's still here, but has asked me, well, we have refineries here. Why aren't they up and working? And, and I didn't have an answer for her, but I do now. I do now because I did some investigation. With all of this energy that's coming in and with these refineries, it is not economically sound to start them up. Now, let me say that again. We think just go ahead, start it up, let's get going, right? But with the administration and the changes that are wanting to be made. Now it's when you start taking a look and you sort of, this is why I say take an eagle's perch. Take an eagle's perch, right? So when you take an eagle's perch, you start to see, oh, all of these lines and how all of these lines are coming together. If you've seen where these two idiots threw a Campbell's soup, I don't know, it looked like pretty gross soup, onto a painting. I think it was a Van Gogh painting, the sunflower painting. There's glass on it, and they have a thing about gluing their hand onto the wall, something fucking stupid, and causing a scene and saying, no more oil, no more oil. Okay. Now, when you start seeing the lines and you start seeing what's going on there, there's a correlation, because it's not just random people starting to do it. And this is, going back to even Black Lives Matter. Okay. So when we went back to Black Lives Matter, there's an underlying organization that has something to do with it. But they're not going to do it, Lexi, because of the money. Now I'm going to get into that money part in a moment. The real dangers of, just let me see. So I can explain this. So the real danger of the diesel shortage, this is part of my notes here, that no one is talking about by now, must have heard that the US has 25 days, right? As I said. And it's worse than that. And it's worse than it sounds, but not just for the United States, but it's for the rest of the world. So what does it really mean? And I've seen many people, I saw Tucker Carlson last night on Fox News about this, but no one is doing the research. No one is explaining the problem. And that's one of the things that I get upset about, because I look at the astrology and I hear them talking, but nobody's going into the depth. And that's the same thing that happened with the fucking vaccine, but nobody wanted to listen and everybody else wanted to get on the goddamn. Anyways, that's another tangent I won't go down. But this is the reason and the effects. So I'm going to break it down and what's happening. And this shortage means, okay, I gotta follow my notes here, because I'm not an economist or anything like that. I go to a lot of different sites and stuff like that, and I gather my information, and that's what I do. What you need to be aware of so that we can navigate this correctly for yourself, your business, and your family. So where I'm going to dive into some research to help you understand what's going on, because most of the information you've been getting is not conclusive, at least of what I've been able to see. So I want to figure this all out. And with you, now I'm going to ask, just a little bit of a favor. I want you guys to share this out. I want you to talk to people. I want you to really get into it. All right. I know, Patrol, and they had cell phones. So, and they were filming. So this is where, spent a lot of time of making this content, but I'm going to ask, that you share this out. And we're going to discuss some things. So people like Samuel Adams said it doesn't take a majority to prevail, but a small, irate minority keen on setting bushfires in the minds of men, which is why I use that term, lighting bushfires. So just don't watch this. Just don't watch this. I want you to talk about it. It's the bushfire. It's the grassroots. That's what's going to be making the changes. If you're not going to talk about it, if you're not, you're not going to see it, right? So the thing is that most people have all the wrong information, and you are going to have the right information now. So we're going to discuss the ideas. And discuss the ideas so that we really understand and we really what's really at play. So President Biden on Twitter, and we know that he is not writing his own stuff on Twitter. We know that. There's no way he's writing his own stuff. I'm sorry about the light just came in. There we go. He's not writing his own stuff. So, and while of course the headline says this the diesel supply gasoline that we have is at a 20-year low, and it's below or 5-year average. We have a very, very short supply of diesel. Now it's just a short supply, as a matter of fact. The last time we've seen this short was October of 1951, right after World War II. But during that time, we had 102-day supply. Now we have a 25-day supply right now. And 25 days, that's worse than 102. Now, the difference between the 50s and the 1950s and now, they wanted production. They had, if you go back and you'll see pictures of a lot of oil wells and people getting out there and really working the oil fields, right? You're not seeing that now. Take that in mind. So that doesn't mean that in 25 days we're going to be out of diesel. It's not what it means. So just put that to rest. And I thought, oh my God, I honestly thought in 25 days we are not going to have, got to get myself situated here. We're not going to have diesel. I really thought that. That's because you hear, and I'm just like, but that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. And of course, little me and my little brain, when it doesn't make sense, when somebody is saying that and you hear every single media outlet saying that, that gets my, the hair on the back of my neck up. And I really want to know what's going on. What it does mean, let's go up here. What it does mean is that we are so far behind in production. We are using more than we can consume, and that our savings, our reserve is dwindling down. So typically we have a much bigger reserve in case you have a hurricane that takes out the Gulf Coast, or you have a really bad winter that everything gets shut down, right? For example. And we've had reserves. We've had 100 days, the lowest they've had, and we've had 100 days of reserves in the United States and 25 days reserves. So it doesn't mean that we're going to run out in 25 days, as much as the fear porn videos want to tell you. It's not the case. But what we are seeing skyrocketing prices in already very, very fragile economy. Now, you have to understand that we are seeing the economy being defragmented. That's part of what Pluto in Capricorn does. There's a defragmentation, there's a disruption within our capitalist system and within everything that is going on to take it apart, to get us to a point where we are something new has to come in. So we're seeing different pain points in different areas. So depending on where you're living in the country or the world, this is going to affect you differently. So for example, when we see here is a diesel truck, a diesel truck comes in, stops, actually the price per gallon. And this is the price per gallon. And I got this in the United States. So this is in Pennsylvania. And what we can see is that the average price for diesel is $41.70. Okay. And a gallon, that's a gallon. All right. So, and that's in Pennsylvania. And but in Pennsylvania, it can go up to at least $6. So it's much, much worse there. Okay, and the rest of the country, it's around $4 to $5. In Pennsylvania, it's between $6 and $7. So when you go to different areas, like even in Canada here, you could go to BC, you're going to see diesel prices crazily. You go up north, you see the prices even go higher, and then even back into New Brunswick and all the Cape Breton Islands, the diesel prices are quite high. So why I bring this up, if you're in, whatever part of the country, for example, it's going to be a much bigger problem for you. If you are a truck driver, it could be a much bigger problem for you than if you drive an EV. car, and it's going to affect everybody. And the reason why is, as you can see, diesel moves the world. It moves the boats, it moves the ships, it moves the trains, it moves, all of our trucks, diesel, our farm equipment, everything is moved by diesel. An electronic car, they barely can move. Okay. You're not going to see an electronic car out in the middle of a grain field. Gas vehicles move some, but it's the diesel fuel that delivers the goods and services, and it's what is all about the transportation industry. So all of the packages going back and forth across the country on diesel. Agriculture, all the farm equipment, it's on diesel. All the manufacturing, all the diesel, heating your homes, that diesel. And the reason why I say this is because literally change everything that we know and imagine. So just that produces. So if you got something off Amazon, for instance, whoever manufactures that product had to get different inputs. All of that had shipping costs to get there. Then maybe they sent it somewhere else to get some assembly, but something shipped it back over here to the packaging, put it together. They had to get the boxes, ship the packaging, the materials, ship that all, put it all together, and then had it shipped to you. And think about how many shipping inputs that was, and all of that's on diesel. I had to sit down and I had to think about this. And then I'm thinking about, okay, Pluto's coming to the end of Capricorn. Holy fuck, this makes so much sense. This is going to be such a disruption for everybody because Pluto goes into Aquarius in March. So between now and March, we're going to see such a disruption when it comes to corporations, when it comes to governments, when it comes to institutions and how they're run and how everything is inputted. Okay. So with the packaging, they're all going to go up because of the diesel fuel, food costs. Here, the food, it's more diesel fuel on the farms to grow the food, and then more diesel fuel on the tractors to move it back in the processing. Now, you may not see the total price. Now, yes, food has gone up. If you have been storing food since I've been talking about this, it's gone up 35%. So you've just earned 35%, 35% savings. Now, you're not going to be seeing the full impact of the diesel issue. Like, it's not going to all of a sudden you're going to go to the store and it's going to be crazy. You're not going to see this. This is why I say we're going back to the first couple of weeks. This is about preparedness. This is about prepping. This is about having an understanding of what it is that we need to do to prepare for the stuff that is coming forward. Sorry for the length of this video. It's my birthday, so now. And I want to get this information out. So everywhere along the supply chain, all the prices get more and more expensive. All right. So that's how far it's going to affect this, but it's not going to just stop. It's not. So let's just, it's not going to just stop. So let's just stop and think about this shortage for a minute. Now, like I said, this doesn't mean we're going to run out in 25 days. But we need to understand what's going on here. This isn't to scare you. This is to awaken you, to understand what is going on. Now, remember when I said you have to have an eagle's perch and see where everything is going and where that line is and what is the ultimate goal for the governments, for the elites? What is their ultimate goal for all of this, right? So what's happening, really happening now, the shortages are nothing new. We run out of shortages all the time. So right now in our society, that we buy more, we don't have enough. We don't have supply chain issues, things like that. It's nothing new. They are typically painful, but they're manageable. Now they're saying, and the saying is that the higher prices are the cure for high price. So that's what that means. Well, as the price of things go up, people buy less of them. So there's less demand, and that at the same time, because the prices are going up so high, other people will come in to solve that need, so that at the same time you get less demand, you get more supply to alleviate the problem. And typically, but what we could see is we could see some cities running dry. So, as I already show, I've already said about the price discrepancies. Okay, the price discrepancies. So, if you're in the Northeast, in different parts of the provinces, or parts of the United States in the Northeast, it could be a very big problem. If you are in a part of the country, you may not notice a big problem, except for you're going to notice higher costs everywhere. Like I said, not just if you're trying to fill up your diesel truck. I'm talking about every single price, an entire drag on the overall very fragile economy, as if we're not already in a dangerous situation enough, as if it's not where we're going. The prices everywhere are going to be going up dramatically. Okay? Now, Biden is saying, what he's saying, of course, it's all Putin's fault. It's all about the war in Russia. Now, it certainly is extravagating, but it's definitely not the full blame. We know the US banned all Russian imports of fuel. We have banned Russian imports of everything that we can see, and is taking a big toll. So this is, this is what it's showing us. So the important from Russia that we've had, the imports from Russia that we've had, and we've had a lot of imports from Russia. For example, Mercedes-Benz. Do you know that all the if you get a really nice Mercedes-Benz in SE class, the upholstery is all hand sewn in Russia. Just a little tidbit there. So the imports from Russia that we have had, and right here, that we're going to be seeing, that April was the last month, and then we have the import zero for every single month after that. So supply and demand, we have had less diesel coming in from Russia. Now you might ask yourself if the US or used to be self-sustaining country. Same with Canada. Why do we need to import from Russia? We've been going to get to that in a moment. So we're going to get to that in a moment. I'm reading my notes and I'm getting downloads at the same time. So it's not just the United States that have sanctioned Russia, the whole world, many other parts. So if we think that the sanctions are hurting Russia, they're hurting us too. So parts of the world and have all sanctioned Russia, parts of the world, not all of the world. We can see this playing out. We've seen only an extravagates the problem. And there's an article in Bloomberg, US exports more diesel. So there's an article from Bloomberg. US exports more diesel, so that the US is running short on diesel, but the US is exporting diesel at the time when we need it. And the cost of everybody's is going up. And we might have a shortage, but we're exporting more diesel as a global shortage fuel the competition. So it's not just a problem in the United States, it's the whole world. Europe is scrambling right now for diesel. Europe needs, they're scrambling for and has to supply. Latin America is now scrambling and are the buyers and are paying up so that they're paying more. So now we got a bidding war on the diesel. Diesel's sitting out there in the middle of the ocean, right? And if somebody says, and the captain gets a call, hey, so-and-so is going to pay X amount double the price, turn the ship around. Oh, okay. So the most Europe, and the most Latin America pay the most. So this is causing the big problem. And we can see it here and with the US fuel exports, draining domestic diesel and gasoline supplies. Exports at this time, we don't have enough. And at the time when the American people can't and the Canadian people can't even afford things. And this is going to be, you're going to be seeing it, and it's going to hit us hard at Christmas time. So if there's things that you are wanting to buy at Christmas right now and you're seeing it, when it comes to if there's a special toy and everything, get it. So this is coming into a dangerous situation. But why? Why? What happened? It seemed to like it wasn't long ago that the world had plenty of diesel fuel. So what is actually happening? And all this is all Putin's fault. It's all his fault. And I thought the United States was independent, and Canada was independent. I mean, that's what we've been told. And that's what Trump even said and used to say, let's dig into all the right. So it's not just the price of oil. So President Biden has been all over Twitter lately, and all over talking about things. And because that's the fastest form of getting information out is through Twitter. And Twitter, but he's been, as he's been saying, that the oil companies are greedy. They are booking record profits on the price per oil, but the gasoline at the pump is still too high. Well, you don't put in oil in your car. Your oil has to be refined. So the oil that's coming out of the ground has to be refined into gas, into diesel, etc. And in those refineries, and they take the oil to the refineries and they refine, they turn it into gas or turn it into diesel. And the problem that we have in the United States and Canada specifically is we have too few refineries. All right. At the gas station, on average, they make about 2 cents per liter and 2 cents per gallon. The rest is profit. The rest is taxes. That is inputted on your gas. So on that $1.61 or 59 or 42 or whatever you're paying, 2 cents of that is the gas stations. The rest of that is taxes and profits that go to the government and to the companies. Now, some places, like in certain provinces, that's why certain provinces have higher gas per gallon or per liter. Like California, California, they're about $1. I mean, California is really taxed. So BC is another one that is heavily taxed with their gas per liter. So the gas stations are too greedy. That's what we think that, and they're charging us too much. But the scenario, the tax is $1. Who's greedy? The problem is we have too few refineries now. Why? Why do we have too few refineries? This is where we need to look at it. Now, if you think of diesel, like diesel goes up and down the West Coast from Alaska all the way down. But the thing is, and goes into Vancouver, the laws that were passed in Washington State and along Oregon and California. California is very high producing oil state. Is they didn't want to have refineries. It pollutes. So they will ship it to China. They'll ship it somewhere else to be refined because it's cheaper. They ship it to Russia to be refined. But let's put restrictions on them. So do you think they're going to refine our oil now? Again, we didn't used to have this problem. Now we do. Why? That's what we should always be asking. And it seems things used to work and now they don't. What's changed? What is changing? What is going on? Get on your eagle's perch. What is changing? What are they instituting? What are they starting to culminate? Now they have young people going around, ooh, no more oil, no more oil. Greta coming in, oh, end capitalism. We don't want that. So you get this going, you get this without a true understanding of what it means to the world, what it means to you and I, what it means to everyone. 9 times out of 10, they're not paying their own rent. They're not paying for their costs for shit. So the reason, what we can see here, the refinery's output is going to all the way back here. And what it is that in 1985, all the way back to 1985. And now what I want to tell you is to show you the amount of gallons or barrels that the refineries put out, or the total amount they put out, and what we can see right now. In 2022, the latest numbers that we have on the output, we haven't seen that low of output since 2015. So we are basically back to where we were for productions from 2015 to 2016. And more 2017 produced more, and 18 produced more, 19 produced, all the way up to 2020. What happened in 2020? So we are going backwards, and now we are producing less and less and less and less. So now when we're up on that eagle's perch, now what are we seeing? Oh, well, I'm going back and I'm seeing, oh, was there a reason for these lockdowns? Was there a reason for all of this to happen? I don't know. That's a question to ask. Shut the refineries down. Why they shut since the beginning of the pandemic and elsewhere in the world. Capacity has also shrunk by 2.13 million additional barrels a day. So the US, they've shrunk their refineries. Plus they sold a lot to China. So did Canada. But we want to fight them. So also shrunk as well. It says that there's no plans to bring in new plants either in the United States or Canada online. And that's kind of weird, right? High prices are supported to be the cure of high prices. So if high prices have gone up and there's more profits, wouldn't it make sense that the refineries to come back online to deliver? Wouldn't it make sense if they did that? Demand. But it says there's no US plants. Come back online. Even though refineries are reaping record prices, right? They're reaping up the money. They're making money. But why aren't there more refineries coming? It says the supply squeeze is only going to get worse. So the problem is not getting better. The amount of refinery capacity is going down. The diesel shortage that we are making this video about right now here is going to get worse. The price of gasoline you pay is only going to go up. Why at the time? Now, what we're going to see is with Jupiter sitting there, expanding things, Neptune and that, they all control the oil and everything else. So what you are going to be seeing is these high prices going up. Right? Oh, it wouldn't matter, Charlene. It wouldn't matter if you get out and take care of the people. That that wouldn't work. Honestly, it wouldn't work right now the way that they have things set up. Because I'm getting that. So American households and Canadian households have ever seen prices are going to get fast, and American households have never seen it this bad. Because remember, as I said, the prices are going up and everything goes up. The East Coast is on the brink of a diesel shortage. The risk is crippling already and drains supply chains. And the thing is that sure, the West can take care of themselves, but they still need diesel. They still need to get the imports. They still need to get the stuff. How are they going to get the stuff? More prices are going up at the time when, with the Biden administration and the Trudeau administration is 100% focused on getting inflation down. So they say, They are not taking care of the number one driver of inflation and risk eventually transition. It says, the reason why is the eventual transition towards the cleaner energy makes. The Cleaner Energy Act. When you start looking at that Cleaner Energy Act in the next 5 years, any country that's ever done that, has crippled their country, has caused vast death, disease, starvation, etc. They might have it. It doesn't matter if they have it or not. Nobody's drilling. Nobody's taking it out because they have to get it refined and towards a cleaner energy because they want cleaner energy. So long-term business models unprofitable. So why am I putting money if the government is saying I don't want this anymore, we're not supporting this anymore, we are banning it and we're going to make laws to say that we're not going to have it anymore, I'm not going to use my profits to invest in it. It's not economically viable when they are making record profits, and those profits are expected to continue. And it says nothing about the current environment is promoting investments in fossil fuels. So it takes a lot of money to invest in fossil fuel, a lot of money to invest in a new oil wells. It takes a lot of money to invest in new refineries to build them out. You go back to 1951, right? And during that time, it was enterprising. It was newness. We really wanted to make things work. The money was there. The money was being reinvested in fossil fuels. Totally. So it takes a long time and it costs a lot of money. And so in the current environment, when the president has come saying his goal was to shut down fossil fuels, who would want to invest in it? If I have money and I got the administration and the government saying, we're not investing in that, we're not going to allow for you to drill anymore, we're not going to allow you to do that anymore, why am I taking my money and investing in that? This is and the answer is nobody would. And it's going to take 15 to 20 year payback on most of that investment. So why am I going to put money into something and it's going to cost me millions of dollars or billions of dollars to open up a refinery and I'm not going to make my money back? Why am I going to do that? Now remember, North Node is in Taurus, South Node is in Scorpio. That's money. Pluto, this is all about money. This is all about control. Saturn is control. Saturn's breaking away from that 30-degree orb from Pluto. But as Saturn goes into Pisces, it wants to have things done. It wants to have things created, right? So it's the dollars to open up the refinery and not having. And the administration says their goal is to shut all that down. So why would I invest into it? And Phillips 66, for example, would have to spend more than $1 billion not to build something new, just to restart the Alliance refinery that got shut down during Hurricane Ida. They're not opening it up. So all of those jobs are lost. All of everything, from that hurricane, plus, whatever damage was done. So all of that is lost. So here, as for selling those assets, so here we don't want to spend $1 billion. Maybe somebody else will, maybe they will sell it as for selling those assets to someone who would ramp up production, but no one's buying it. No one wants to buy it. Nobody wants, there's no players in the industry. Doesn't matter if you have 100-year supply. That's not where they want to go. They want to go towards the clean living. Now, this also comes in restriction. What are the restrictions can they make upon you? That's why it's so important when we go back to the astrology and I say, what is that community that you are trying to grow? What is that you are trying to do? Do you have a backup lithium battery, not a gas generator. If you have a gas generator, I don't know how long the gas is going to last, right? It might last for the next 5, 8 years. That could be. I don't know, right? We got Uranus in there. I have no idea. He's a crazy man. But what we do know is that you can get backup generators that are solar powered. So if you're able to get your hands on one of those right now, that's where to go. So that is where the capital to employ, then buying the refinery. That's the Valeroy CEO said we've got the money, but we'll find better things to do with the money. They'll find better things to do with the money. This is what they're going to do. So the administration says they are trying to shut us down. So that's what they're saying. These guys are saying the administration is going to shut us down. New Zealand is a pilot of a lot of things that are going on too. And you watch like their prime minister, the little bitch, who's coming out and saying that freedom of speech should be freedom of speech is a bomb. It's a new weapon, and she wants to really stop freedom of speech. They want us to stop talking. That's why I say it is about the fire starting. It is about, my kids are texting. That's, if you hear all the dinging, that's my kids. And they don't stop because they're air. So it's going to get worse. So what's next? Well, we do know that we can expect more closures of these plants are going, all right? And how the problem is, we have, fewer refineries. Some of these refineries are 100 years old. They're running at maximum, they're running at max, right? And as they are running on max, they a 100-year-old refinery has to be shut down to so that they can go repair, and they have to go to an 85 capacity, because if they run at 100 capacity, they can't do it. And when I found out that some of these refineries are 100 years old, it blew my mind. I was just like, what the fuck? I didn't know it was 100 years old. I was thinking some of the refineries were from World War II. Well, I guess it's close to 100 years old, isn't it? Ugh. I'm 59 today. So yeah, some of them are 60, between 75 to 100 years old. Wow. So a week or two of disruptions, well, that's 25 days of savings could dwindle down to 7 days, or dwindle down to nothing. Now, the Russian oil logistics is in chaos ahead of more looming sanctions. And there's a whole nother batch of sanctions that they're wanting to put on them. So a couple of months and the world doesn't know what to do about it. And if we continue cutting off supply, we're already cutting off the supply in the US and Canada. We have already done it to ourselves, and we did it to ourselves. And now we are saying we're going to cut off the rest of the world. It's not rocket science. And and it's not rocket science in addition to that now in the world, in the whole world. So now we have competition. And so this is trade diverts. That means that there was a shipment heading for Europe, and it was in Europe bound of diesel, as I was saying before, and now it's going to the US. Crazy, right? Yeah, to buy silver. Yeah, to buy your silver and stuff like that. Definitely. You got to look at alternative ways. And you got to make sure that you're prepared, right? Diesel is from, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, on Thursday is changed its destination, and it's left the UAE heading for Europe, where they really need diesel as well, because they need to, for more stuff around as well. And the US traders bought it and said, hey, don't go there. We'll pay you more to come over here. So what what this all means is pushing the prices up higher and higher and higher, and that's what's going to happen. So you're going to start seeing things going higher and higher and higher. So this is very important for you to do your due diligence and your homework on where you're putting your money. As little Miss Honeybee, Cynthia, just said, silver just went up. But you also have to look at what are the things that we are going to be doing in order for us to create the abundance that we need in our world and what we need for our own selves. So it's going to get worse when we see here, and the U.S. refinery is planning to close by 2024, but they're saying that it might be slated to close by 2023, by the end of this year. So because of financial burdens of upgrading and its infrastructure, and remember, like I said, some of these are 100 years old, and the infrastructure needs to be done. So regulations, and they can't live up to the regulations. They can't live up to the regulations. So a lot of these refineries, so the regulations that they want them to, with the new carbonization goals that the administrations are putting on all of these refineries, they can't do it. So they can't open. So back to, Charlene, why aren't they opening? Because they can't afford to open, with everything. So they're going to have to shut down. So less gas, same supplier. And what does the administration and everybody goes? Let's go back onto our perch, and we're looking, they're like, oh, they want us all pedaling bikes. They all want us, on electric cars. They want us doing things differently, and that's what you're going to find, is that they are going to want you to be able to be on a system that they can control. Now, how they don't get the control, or how this all works, is that we start the fires. The fires is, I talk to you, you guys start talking to everybody else. You start looking into the information yourself and start to do it. So you get the picture? Word of mouth is power. We putting the pressure to the fuel prices, push them up, soaring to due primarily to the President Biden's control and the exuberance by the Russian invasion, because we're losing diesel. And that's why they're pushing the war. If they push the war, that means that diesel prices can go up higher and they can make more money. Right? So they're wanting to do that. And for the first time in decades, the U.S. doesn't have enough refineries or capacity to do what it needs to do. Crazy. And this is, there's no temporary fixes. There is not going to be getting better in the short term to get the refineries back. It takes 10 years. It takes, years to do this in the meantime. It's not good for the economy. Like I said, the higher prices and everything else that are going to be happening. But this is like, we do have the capacity of working together. Going back to, as I say, things are going to be working very slowly. The energy is moving very slowly. As we are starting to see a lot of this, it seems like everything seems scattered and all over the place. That's why we go up onto our Eagle's Perch. We take a look and we can see, oh, this is all starting right here. They're trying to distract me all the way over here to all this other bullshit. But this is where the problem is. They did that before, starting in 2020. So depending on where you live, what you do for work, it's going to affect us more and more. And it's going to affect us a lot more than if, in one part of the country than in another part of the country. And so be prepared for this. As they are trying to really push things up, and things are going to start getting more expensive. And the real problem, the policies that are causing these problems, remember, it's all worked 2 years ago. So this is also going to, looking at, what is your government passing? What are the policies that your local government's passing? Are we paying attention? And, so this is about talking and getting the word out. And the more that we start to talk about this, the more we start to get to know what's going on. And that's where the astrology is letting us know there's a great expansion coming in. There's, this energy, this growth is coming in for us to grow, more, and to allow us to be able to see things in a clearer view. When you have that clearer view, then you can actually begin to see the changes that you can make within your own life, the changes that you can make in the people around you. So the global revolution is there. And the thing is that that's why they want to stop, the censorship and everything else, is that if I'm talking to you about this and I'm trying to educate people and I'm educating myself as I'm doing this, then this is where they want to stop this. They don't want us talking. They don't want us to be talking about any of this. They just want you to shut up and follow suit. Just do as I say. Line up, take the shot. Get on, yeah, and you can get on with your life. No, you don't get on with your life. What ends up happening is they end up controlling more. They end up controlling you. They end up controlling everything else around you. That's what the starting of it. Now I'm coming up to in December. I'm going to be doing a 5-year prediction. And if anybody's interested in joining in that 5-year prediction, I haven't booked the day or anything as of yet. But I'm going to go do a deep dive for the next 5 years and what my predictions are for the next 5 years. If you're interested in it, let me know. There will be a minimal cost to joining me for that day, and it'll probably be on Google Meet or something. I'll figure it out. Probably Google Meet. It won't be on Zoom. I canceled my Zoom because it was just too expensive to have Zoom. So, yeah, I'll keep you. Last I heard, Mo was trying to keep our stuff here. Well, I know they're trying. The thing is if they don't have refineries, they can try and keep it here. But if the big companies are not investing, they're not investing because the sanctions, they can keep it. The provinces can say what they will. But again, where Pluto controls corporations. So it's going to bring in a whole kettle of crazy fish and government and, the fight, because who's in control of the government right now? Corporations. Corporations. So this is bringing in a whole kettle of fish. This is bringing in a whole load of explosion. So look into lithium. Honestly, look into lithium. Where are the lithium mines? Do you know Canada has some mines? So where do you think the big guys are going to start to put their money? They're going to put their money into um, rare precious metals. It's the lower part of the periodic table where lithium and that is. That's where the money is. That's where the investment is. They're going to be going into where I've been seeing more, especially in France and stuff, people going on EcoFlow for backup for their electricity, and they've all been doing backups for heating and fuel, so not having the diesel or petroleum. So a lot of places are really starting to back it up now, and and have that. And even in some vehicles like caravans and stuff like that, they have an EcoFlow backup so that they're able to generate the power that they need for their caravans and stuff. So the change is there, right? um at the office. Hey, Dana. Sending you love. Thank you. So it's that's where it's going. And there is a push for it. The thing is that they're going to guilt you in some way and saying, you got to do it because of global warming and things like that. They're not talking about solar flares. They're not talking about the energies that are coming out from the center of the earth right now that are happening at this time either. They're not talking about how the accumulation, yes, as man, we have sped up a lot, but the accumulation of everything else that's going on, the natural things that are happening right now are the current uh, for the flow is all over the place, right? And my son, so it's causing weird weather patterns, on things like that. So um yeah, it's pretty crazy right now, the amount of shit that is unfolding for us all at this time. But it's onwards and upwards, everybody. We can get through this, but this is a fight on our hands, and things aren't going to get easier. The energies are showing me that things aren't going to get easier. Things are just going to get a lot harder. They're going to get crazier, as time goes on. And oh, see, my son's messaging me. There we go. So I gotta tell him I am not at work today. So it is. And so this is an energy right now for the next 2 weeks of preparing of what you need to prepare with, what you need to start working on, and not banging your head up against the wall and letting go of what needs to be let go of. And for me, it's okay, what do I need to look at? And it's rebuilding my business. And how do I want to do it? It's through astrology and what I just did with you guys to do today, and doing my 5-year prediction, which is going to come up in December. So if you're interested, I haven't put a price on it yet. I'm still I'm still going through some of the stuff on what's going to be unfolding for the next 5 years for us all. And I sort of did it in 2017 without really realizing what I was doing. And even before then. But it's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. A crazy, crazy drive. So sending you guys out so much love. And if you guys want to join me tonight at the Earl's Tin Palace, I'll be there at 7:00 tonight. And it is Dutch, so I'm not paying for anybody except for myself. So if you want to join me, please, definitely come on out and have even have an appy and a glass of wine with me would be absolutely fabulous. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You could just come and sit and have a glass of wine, or I don't know, sparkly water if you want. You don't have to have wine, but come out and join, and just we can have a conversation. We can talk more face to face. I love that. So have a great day. I love you all. Thank you. Sorry I kept you guys here for an hour and a half, but hey, it's my birthday, and I really, 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 really wanted to get this all off my chest, because it's I usually don't have morning times to do a lot of things. So blessed be everybody. Hopefully someone pays for you as well. It's your birthday. I know it'd be nice if somebody pays for me. So have a blessed one, everyone, and Godspeed. I just had somebody say Godspeed. That was weird. That wasn't my voice, but it was Godspeed. Blessed be everyone. Bye bye.